Why, hello, and welcome to Convos for A Bubbly Life. I'm your host, Tiara, aka T, and I love to live a life that is bubbly, meaning an extraordinary life by your own design. On this podcast, we explore the journey of creating the life of our desires. So let's get to it. So I think I spoke a little bit too soon when I brought up that the obsessed with myself cycle is complete. Not even, I don't know, less than 12 hours ago. I did say that I knew that more information would show up for me, but like the big revelations have been completed. So I was correct in that front, but I wanted to share this perspective with you because I feel like, one, I haven't specifically talked about business or my business in a while, and I wanted to share how this becoming obsessed with self translates into that space, right? Like, I truly believe that as we grow, as we expand, as we learn to love ourselves, as we set intentions, our lives aren't as compartmentalized as we may think that they are, right? There's not just your home life and then your career and your love life. We can break down them into aspects of like, what could we want to go better in any of these places or spaces? But a lot of it will, when you funnel it down to like the core of your essence, a lot of the things that we want to improve upon and expand upon all stem from maybe the same fears or belief structures that have been shifted and altered in certain ways, right? We might have low self-worth, but for some reason or another, we've trusted that we can excel at school or work or whatever. Speaking for myself, for sure. I might not see I've grown up and had all these beliefs about my looks, but I never necessarily had the beliefs about my brain, but they all come from a similar space, right? At the end of the day, there's a trust and a belief and an alignment in ourselves within certain aspects of our life, but it all culminates and all comes back to us, who we are, our pure essence, and where we can refine and redefine who we are and what we bring to the table, right? And so as I was thinking about it, like I've mentioned in this exploration, learning about and witnessing that I don't need to bring anything special to the table if I am enough, right? And so we translate that to business. And I look back through all the iterations of what I've wanted to do with my business and how to grow my business from, starting the podcast, from going as far back as being a beach body coach, from beach body to my wine business, and from my wine business to wanting to incorporate life and business coaching, and so on and so forth. At every stage, there was this need and this belief that I needed to create something. I needed to think outside of myself for some sort of secret sauce to entice people. And it almost feels, as I look back on it, it feels manipulative, right? And in a way, like we are constantly manipulating energy and things around us. So there's no judgment in the manipulation, but in the thought that comes up with it is not so much that there's something wrong with manipulation as much as it was an impure creation. I was trying to find and look at other people's businesses and look at other people's success and trying to emulate it from their space and their belief structure and not from within my own, right? And so I wasn't seeing me as the value for my business when honestly, we are the core, we are the essence, we are our own secret sauce, right? if you are a business owner, you are your business's secret sauce. There is no better you than you. You are the best you there ever has been or ever will be, right? And so what you bring to the table is enough. Take that to relationships, right? Like, you are worthy of love, and the person and the people who are attracted to you, who are wanting to grow and thrive with you, are looking for you. And I've now come to this place and space of thinking and becoming obsessed with myself and becoming in love with myself and recognizing my true power and getting rid of all of these false stories. I become more in alignment with not needing this excess accoutrement that is like basically hiding myself. Right? Like I'm taking my bath time. We talk about, it's a bubbly life, right? And so bubble baths are a huge part of it. Yes. And so I'm having my bath time. And I remember a friend commenting on like my bath being my cauldron. And it's so true in the sense that like I often meditate. I get great ideas while I'm in the shower, while I'm lounging in the bath, because it's my space to hold space for myself, right? And so as soon as I like set this intention to really reinvigorate my business and grow it and learn more about how to create it in a way that feels good for me, that's not stressing me out, that brings me peace, joy, and financial freedom, it came to me like I've witnessed other leaders and gurus and other people do business in a way that is different from what I was trained to do, right? I feel like I'd been through so many trainings that are like, you need to reach out to this many individual people. You need to like have some sort of freebie or some sort of whatever to gain their trust and gain like, and bring them in. Like you're not like, how I took that information to me felt like my showing up was not enough. Like I'm not enough of an enticement to get people to participate in my greatness, right? Participate in the magic that I have to offer. And I didn't even like consciously internalize it like that. I just have been through so much in my life, and I have created this story and thus trusted in the story because I found ways to support that story in my life experience. And I've now come to a place of being like, it's bullshit, right? The same thoughts that I would have had a year or 2 years ago when I would want to make a change to my business or implement a new strategy to my business would be like, oh, that would be great if I had this many people show up for this event or this many people do whatever. And then all of a sudden I would get so like bogged down of like, well, where am I going to find these people? And I don't I don't have the following, and people aren't as engaged as they are with me as they are with my mentors and other people that I follow. Like, what is it? Why are they not following me? Like, I put out content. I think my content's good. Like, I think I'm funny. Like, why, what is it? And then it's like, I never trusted myself enough, right? I trusted in these outside things that I thought were going to bring the people in, and not trusting myself. I trusted, oh, well, I'm going to collab with XYZ person, and XYZ person has a decent following, or is people, they have influence. So I wasn't trusting my own influence. I was like, well, maybe this person's influence, if I bring them onto my podcast, or if I, collaborated with them on an event, their people will see my value, and I will be edified by this other person, and thus they'll want to purchase whatever from me. And while, yes, collaboration is great and it's good to expose yourself to different people, the point is my trust was not in myself. I put all the eggs, all the trust, all the love, and the power and the influence of someone else, and not seeing it within myself. So this experience and this exploration has unleashed a space and a level, another understanding of my business for myself. So, you might see me doing some things that I have done in the past, but I am like 100% sure that it's going to be even more successful this time, right? It's not going to be just like a side hustle. What I am creating is going to be something truly from self, truly reflected of me and my passion and what I love to do. Me in leadership. Leadership is my desired state, right? Like really stepping in and recognizing my leadership skills from myself and no one else, and bringing that to the table. Really like feeling in and understanding that I am the queen of my castle. I am the queen of my story. I am #main character energy, right? This is my life and this is my life's path, and you get to choose that for yourself as well. And so as I'm opening these doors and stepping through, not just opening, but stepping through is the biggest part, right? Like that's the next level. That is the momentum to carrying you towards the next door and the greater good, and what it is that you truly desire is taking that step forward. So as I am growing and learning and understanding myself to the fullest, I can bring the best version of myself to you and my community, right? I can trust in myself to empower my community. I understand that my existence is enough. So often I hear people talk about, or I've been hearing lately, people talking about, giving to your community, and that is like how you're going to find success, like true success. And whether it's in like a tarot reading or whatever, like I've been hearing these multiple calls that are like, you have the power, you just have to provide for your community. And I'm like, I don't know what to provide. Like, I'm not like naturally altruistic. Like, yes, I am on a certain level, but like, I'm not necessarily like, I'm not fired up by ending world hunger. Do I want that to be something that happens in this world? Yes. But is that my passion to explore and figure out ways to make it an actuality? No, that's not my calling, right? And so as I'm looking through my calling and like looking for my fulfillment and what I'm passionate about, I know that leadership is a part of it. I know speaking up and sharing words of encouragement as a part of it. I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, what is my niche? What is my secret sauce? What is all these things that we've learned in like marketing classes and whatever, and business coaching, through receiving business coaching and all of these things. What do I bring, right? Like, am I really that helpful to a community? Like these are the things that would go through my mind. Like, I don't have anything to bring to the table, quite frankly, was like a thought I would regularly have anytime I would hear someone say like, you just have to be of service. That's the phrase. It was just like, being of service is what's going to bring you success. And I would hear it listening to books and all these things. And I'm like, okay, but what service do I provide? I kept asking, like, what service do I provide? I'm like, okay at this, I'm okay at that, but I'm not particularly passionate about it. And I don't want to build a business around it, right? Like, how is wine of service? Would be something that I would ask so often, like especially when I was heavily focused on the wine business, and I still freaking love wine, and I still have, my website, and people are more than welcome to purchase wine from me. It's just not my main like conversation, right? And obviously, there are wineries and people out there who work in the industry that are thriving. So it does provide some sort of service, right? For me, I know when I drink it, it's delicious. If you get the right bottle, it can be quite delicious. It brings joy and relaxation and luxury. Like, these are the things I think about when I am enjoying a glass of wine. Friendship and connection. When I get to have and share wine with someone else, it is a full experience. So obviously, that is something to be able to portray and showcase to other people. And I struggled with that idea for a long time. And then when I think about like coaching and mentorship, if you will, I struggled to figure out how can my mentorship be different than all the other mentors that I'm friends with? How can my leadership stand out amongst all of the noise? And I got really in my head about the fact that like I felt like I can't, right? Like, I'm trying so hard to like be more analytical about this situation, and I do think it's important to be analytical, like finding a nice healthy balance, if you want to call the masculine, the feminine, whatever phrasing you want to use. There is a nice healthy balance between thinking it out and creating a plan and having a strategy, and also feeling into and bringing in the soul, and having both. I'm like thinking back to pickleball, right? Like, I'm noticing as I'm getting better and as I'm developing my skills and practicing, that at a certain point, certain movements become like, there's no thought. It just becomes automatic, right? Like, I don't have to think about what's going to happen next. What am I going to do? How am I going to hit this ball? Like, can I get it over the net? It's no longer this like inner monologue going on. And it gives me a little bit more freedom as I play and having more fun as I play, because I'm no longer concerned about it. And it's not like blocking up and creating anxiety and fear within me of like losing the game or fear of not being good or whatever. It's giving me more space. And then as I have removed some of the basics and added the basics into my body, I now have more space to better strategize and come up with a more complex plan of action to execute, right? And as I witness other people doing different things, like, my roommate is like super fast and athletic on the court, and I know that my body doesn't necessarily move the same way. But if I'm in the right place, if I'm already pre-planted in the right place, I don't have to run or do whatever to get there. I have seen and witnessed enough of certain movements that I am confident that I can replay it. Like, I know that, hey, like, this person is in the back corner here. If I get the ball and if I hit the ball correctly, it'll drop just far enough out of their reach that they're going to have to move. And if they don't move, they're going to miss it, right? And then that's going to get me my point that I need, right? And so I'm witnessing and I'm learning this, and I am getting less and less frustrated in the process. And I think that translates again to the business, right? Finding a flow, getting the basics under our belt, and then executing, right? And continuing to execute and continuing to grow, continuing to share, continuing to show up for ourselves. And the next thing you know, we're attracting better partnerships. We're attracting a better game. We're having more fun. Yes. And I already know, like, I've been through and had businesses for over like close to 10 years now, I feel like. So it's like I have a lot of these basics done. At this point, it's just like showing up and speaking up and talking about it. What am I going to bring, right? I had the happy hour last week, and so I'm like, that was fun. I want more of that. So we're gonna bring in happy hours, right? And then I feel like I want to bring in a layer of mentorship that is at a cost-effective space for, everyday people. So we're going to bring in that layer, right? So that layer is definitely going to look like group sessions rather than one-on-one sessions. And then the one-on-one sessions, of course, can be the premium, the VIP treatment, the it comes with VIP payment. But also, like, if you're really ready for that tier, that level, it's already on the website, right? Like, if you're ready and you're ready to dive in and get on this journey and do the things, then go for it. But, like, if you're not there, if you don't feel comfortable, then that's okay. We're coming up with a space that'll allow for that comfort level. And I'm excited to showcase that and roll that out and continue to grow from that space and see what else unfurls over time, right? The influencer, Amazon influencer is in play. The wine business is still in play. Tarot readings are still a possibility. There's so much room for growth and expansion. The opportunity for speaking engagements, again, still in play. There are so many aspects and ways to bring in and flow and be divinely supported in my bank account. Right? Ooh, love it. As I said, in my bank account, 22 showed up. That's the number, right? Or my number. So super exciting for that. So with that, friend, keep in mind as you are on your own journey of exploration and growing and expanding, remember that it's not just one aspect of your life that it can apply to. How can this lesson be transitioned, manipulated, if we want to bring that word back, to other aspects of your life, from love to career, business, children, parenting, any other ways that you would like to categorize your experience? How does it all apply? And with that, I will say ta-ta for now. You can always go to www.abubbly.life/luxury living for shortcuts to all the things we have going on, or you can just go to www.abubbly.life and just search the website. It's a little bit harder that way, but you can see all the things that we got going on. And with that, I love you. Ta-ta for now.